now that you understand equity, pot odds, and ranges, let's put them all together to solve a poker situation that you are certain to encounter if you play poker tournaments. Suppose you raise to 2.2 big blinds out of your 16 big blind effective stack from middle position, and the big blind goes all in with this range. This is a really strong range. Pocket tens and better, ace jack suited and better, ace queen offsuit and better, and king queen suited. Which range of hands should you call the all-in with? One term you may be unfamiliar with before we move forward is effective stack. The effective stack is basically the shortest stack among the people in the hand. So in this scenario, everybody has about 16 big blinds. Let's just presume that's the case for simplicity. So what would you call this all-in with in this scenario? Take a second, think about it. Well, it depends on a few things. First thing you want to ask yourself, what are your pot odds? How often do you need to win? How do we figure those out? Well, it turns out we have to call 13.8 big blinds more, which is 16 minus the 2.2 we already put in, right? So we have to call 13.8 more into a pot that will be 33.5 big blinds total. How do we get 33.5? It's our 16, our opponent's 16, that's 32, plus the big blind ante, plus the small blind. Notice the big blind does not count because we already counted that in our opponent's 16 big blind all in because our opponent is in the big blind. If the opponent was on the button, let's say, then we would need to add the big blind to the pot as well. So it would be 34.5. But in this scenario, it's 33.5. All right, so we have to call 13.8 to win 33.5. Total, we divide those numbers, gives us 41.2% equity. So we need to figure out which hands have more than about 43% equity to justify calling. You may say, why 43 and not 41.2? Because we want to make sure we have a little bit of an edge. We don't need a huge edge, but we do need to have an edge. And whenever you are playing poker, tournaments specifically, you want to make sure that you have an edge in every decision that you make. If you're playing at a disadvantage over and over again, well, you're going to go broke first off. But also, you want to make sure you have an edge because if you take a close spot and lose, well, now you're not going to be in the tournament to take advantage of future, perhaps more profitable situations. That said, don't take this concept too far because you'll see some people play really tightly thinking that they'll get a really amazing spot in the future, but it never comes. Okay, so how do we figure out which hands have this much equity?